Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lee Marie and I teach you how to. And in today's video, it is all about wooden wicks. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming to wick a candle with wooden wicks because there are so many options, so many choices, different sizes. What's a booster? What does crackling mean? So I'm going to take you through today on everything you need to know about wicking a candle with a wooden wick. So the first thing I want to talk about is where to get your wooden wicks. Now, I love to get my wooden wicks from Makesy. This is not a sponsored video from Makesy, but they have been nice enough to give me a fantastic discount code for you. So if you go on to makesy.com and use the discount code, it's going to be in the description box below. You can get 20% off of your order. So be sure to take them up on that offer and get your wicks below. Makesy's is my favorite place to get wicks because they are the ones that have the patent on them. They, I think, in my opinion, have the best wooden wicks out there. So I love to get all of my wooden wicks directly from Makesy's, but I will say that it can get confusing sometimes because there's so many different options. So for the purposes of this video, I will be sticking to their two most popular wicks, which are the crackling wicks and the whisper wicks. So those are the two, and the main difference between those two are the crackling obviously make a beautiful crackling wooden sound, and the whispers are a little on the quieter side. They don't really crackle quite as loud as the crackling wicks. The crackling wicks are really meant for just about any kind of wax, while the whisper wicks really tend to work best with paraffin and 100% soy. They can work with coconut, apricot, beeswax, but they get a little tricky. So the whisper wicks, I really recommend those for individuals that are using paraffin or paraffin blends or 100% soy wax. First and foremost, what is a wooden wick? It is a piece of wood that has been made and treated specifically to be made with a candle. What I love about the Makesy wicks is that they are FSC certified. And what does that mean? FSC stands for Forest Stewardship Council, and any wood that is taken from an FSC certified forestry basically is one where when they chop one tree down, they plant 4 more. So it's a very sustainable practice. So when you go to Makesy's, another great thing is that they have a fantastic wooden wick selection guide. So there's a couple things you're going to need to know when deciding what kind of wick to use for your particular candle. First thing you need to know is, what is the diameter of your vessel? How wide is it? So your diameter is going to be this area right here, and you're going to want to go straight across, and that's going to tell you how wide your vessel is. That's going to help determine the kind of wick you choose. The next thing you're going to need to know is, what kind of wax are you using? Are you using a paraffin blend, 100% soy blend, a coconut soy, a cocoa apricot, or a beeswax, or another natural blend? So once you know the diameter of your vessel and you know what kind of wax you're using, you can input that data in and they'll give you some suggestions. The reason I wanted to make this video, however, is to help you understand the suggestions, because again, it can get a little bit overwhelming with the different kinds of numbers and sizes that they throw at you. So the first wicks I'm going to talk about are the crackling wicks, and of those there are 2 different kinds. The first kind is called a single ply. So let's see if you can see that. Single ply basically is just a plain piece of wood. So there's nothing on it. It's just a single ply. The second kind of crackling wick that they have is a booster wick. Now the booster wick is going to have literally an extra piece of wood going down the middle, and that is your booster. And so that's going to give your flame more power and more oomph. It is especially good for certain kinds of waxes that need a little bit more power to get the flame going to the right size. You've got your single ply and you've got your booster. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. Each one has an O2, an O3, or an O4 after it. What is this referencing? It is referencing the thickness of the wood. So an O2 crackling wick is going to be thinner. So the actual wick itself, the wood is going to be thinner than if you get an O4. That's going to be a thicker piece of wood. So we're not talking width right now, we're talking thickness of the wood. So the thickness of an O2 is going to be less than the thickness of an O3, which is less than the thickness of an O4. So I hope I've got you right there. Single ply is just the plain piece of wood. Booster has the strip down the middle, and each one comes in an O2, O3, or O4 thickness. Remember, the thicker your piece of wood is, the more power and more flame you're going to get. So obviously that's going to affect, depending on what kind of wax you're using, which thickness you want. Okay, so I will go through each one and let you know what waxes work best for each thickness. Okay, so for your single ply, so this is the one without the booster, no extra piece of wood on it. The O2 is going to be best for your paraffin wax. O3 is going to be best for a paraffin soy blend, and O4 is going to be best for a natural wax blend. So that is for the single ply. Now for the booster, so this is the one that has the strip down the middle. The O2, which is going to be the thinner one, is going to be best for your coconut apricot and coconut soy. I say this is completely true because this is the kind of wick that I use. I use a Crackling Booster 202 for the thickness, and I use it with the booster, and it works fantastic with coconut soy and coconut apricot wax. The third is going to be your natural waxes. So O3 is going to be a natural blend wax, and then O4, that thickness, is going to be your 100% soy waxes. You're going to want the Crackling Booster O4. So just to kind of reiterate again, you have your single ply with nothing on it. You have your booster that has the strip down the middle to give the flame a boost. And the single ply is really going to work best for your paraffins, your paraffin blends. The booster is going to work best for your coconut apricot, coconut soy, natural blends, and your 100% soy. And remember, O2 is going to be the thinnest of wood, O3 is going to be thicker, and O4 is going to be the thickest, so the most powerful, the thickest wood. Now, once you've chosen which one that you need, so for my purposes, again, I use coconut soy wax, so let's say Crackling Booster O2. So the O2 thickness is the one that I'm going to choose for my particular wax. It's a softer wax. It makes perfect sense. You don't want a super powerful wick on it because you're going to get a melt pool very quickly. Now that you've chosen the type of wick you need to choose the width. And the width is what matters when it comes to the diameter of your vessel. So obviously, this tiny little vessel is not going to need a wick that's this wide. It's going to need a very, very small width wick. So it really matters when you're trying to choose your wick what diameter of vessel you have. Obviously, the bigger your vessel, the wider your wick. And don't worry, I'm going to have all the wicks laid out for you so that you can see them side by side and see all the different sizes. But just to let you know, so this is the 0.75. So that is 3/4 of 1 inch wide. So that's what those numbers mean. The next is the 0.625. That's this one. So this one's a little over 1/2 inch. And you can see kind of the difference. So 0.75, here is 0.625, here is 0.5. So this one is 1/2 inch. And then after 0.5, we have 0.375. And after 0.375, we have this little cutie, 0.25, okay? So those are the different widths of wooden wicks that they have available. And again, it's going to be determined by the diameter of the vessel that you're using. The bigger the diameter, the wider the wick. The smaller the diameter, the smaller the wick. That's why for this cute, tiny little candle, this was the most appropriate wick for it, and it burns beautifully. I will show you that as well so you can see what an appropriately wicked candle burns like. Okay, so once you've determined exactly which one it is, whether it's, the single ply or the booster, and then which number, 02, 03, or 04, and then what width is appropriate, then the last thing you need to decide is the height. So the wicks from Makesy's come in either a 3-inch or a 5-inch. So that again depends on your vessel. If you have a very shallow, low vessel, then the 3-inch would work perfect for you. If you have a taller vessel, then obviously the 5-inch would be best. But that is basically just dealing more with the height of your vessel, of which size would be the most appropriate. So I did just want to quick mention the whisper wicks. On Makesy's website, they have 2 different kinds of whisper wicks. Again, they have your single ply and they have your booster. The difference is here that each one only has 2 different sizes of thickness as opposed to 3. So they go from 02 to 03. That's it. There is no 04 in the whisper wicks. So it's either an 02 or an 03 single ply or an 02 or 03 whisper booster wick. So the single ply 02 and 03 are best for your paraffin and your soy blends. That's what those are for, the single ply. If you want to try the boosters in the whisper wicks, the 02 and 03s are best for your cocoa, apricot, coconut, soy, and your natural blends. So if you want to give the whisper ones a shot, like I said, the boosters are best for your cocoa apricots, cocoa soy, and natural blends. The single ply whispers are going to be best for your paraffin and your soy blends. This is the kind of flame that you are looking for. It is very controlled, it's not flickering, there's no black smoke, it's also not too small. This is exactly what you're looking for a perfectly wicked candle. So here are all of the wicks side by side. You have your 0.75, 0.625, your 0.5, 0.375, 0.25, and then you have your 3-inch and your 5-inch so you can kind of see the size difference. And then the ones in the middle, the 0.625, the 0.5, and the 375 all have boosters on them. So you should be able to see the extra piece of wood that goes down the middle. This is a single ply and that's a single ply. They do not have the extra pieces of wood. So this again is the single ply. As you can see, it is just a regular beautiful piece of wood. You can see the thickness of it. And then I want to show you one with a booster so you can see. So there is the booster running down the middle. So that is what a booster wick looks like. And you can see that the booster wick gives it a little extra power. And that's going to give you a slightly more powerful flame. Don't forget to check out Makesy.com. Again, this is not a sponsored video. However, they were nice enough to give me a discount code to share with all of you. The discount code is NakomisHome20. It is in the description box below, as well as links to all of their wonderful wooden wicks and the wick selection guide. So be sure to use those tools, find your perfect wick, and thank you so much, Makesy, for the discount code for all of my viewers. Happy shopping. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and found a lot of value in the content. I hope that now it's become easier for you to order your wooden wicks and to use them with confidence. Again, this is not meant to take away from testing or anything like that, but instead of trying 10 different wicks, this can definitely narrow it down to 2 to 3 wicks to try to have the appropriate sized wick for your vessel. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed making it. If you'd like to see more content like this, please do hit the like button and also be sure to subscribe. We're trying to grow our channel so we can bring you more informational content more often, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.